Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your June forecast. It's really great to see everybody again, and as I've been saying in most signs this month, I'm really excited about the June forecast. This is giving each sign a chance to do a little bit of soul searching to see if you're happy with the progress that you've made so far. And just like the readings that we do back in January, this is a great chance to really decide what do you want to focus your energy on for the remainder of the year. Before we get into everything, let me just remind you that you can always use this forecast for your sun, rising, and for your moon sign, and you can also watch on behalf of someone that you care about in your life. If you don't know all three, don't worry, just stick with the sign that you were born under, and you'll get more than enough guidance by doing that. If you are a returning viewer, I'd just like to say thank you so much. You make it possible each and every month, and if you're brand new, a nice warm welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and the way that I structure this reading is as follows. I like to start off with some channeled information. That's basically just me tapping into my intuition without the aid of cards. After that, I will look at a Celtic Cross and see whatever needs to come through for the month, and I always spotlight health, wealth, love, and destiny in the extended forecast after that. At the very end, I'll do a quick review and I'll also give you a closing thought, so please stick around until that point. Likewise, if you enjoy what you see here and you'd like to support the channel, at that end point, I'll also talk a little bit about how you can give back. There's a lot of different ways, as easy as liking and subscribing. Some of you may choose to book an appointment, or you may choose to contribute, and I'll talk a little bit about how you can become a patron. Likewise, you can join me across social media if that's something that's interesting. I'll go into all of these different things at the very end, but I know you're here for the forecast, so without any additional delays, why don't we talk about what's coming through for this month? As I selected a deck of cards and began to meditate over your sign, the first thing that I saw was fireflies. And I watched as they continued to move out towards the horizon. And then what I saw in my mind's eye was one of them that was kind of traveling. And to me, it made the symbol for infinity. And I wrote down the following in my channeled writing. I said, "You are infinite." And there was a lightness to its energy, not just the light, but like actually its frequency and its energy was high. And so what I wrote here was, "Don't let others weigh you down." And it's interesting because sometimes if we talk about people, we'll say that that person made you feel like you were sort of down or they were down. It's all about their frequency. And so what I want you to do is go higher, and I want you to, if there's people around you, either try to lift their frequency up or remove yourself from situations where people just can't meet you on the level. This is a month where you need to reserve your energy and focus it, because I feel like there's a lot of great things that you can create and even transform in your life. But if someone is pulling you away or weighting you down, you're not going to be allowed to go to those heights or stretch as far as I saw those fireflies stretching, because I think that there are some things on the horizon that are really exciting for you. And to that end, it's really, really important that what you're working on right here and right now is kind of, it's like you're setting into motion these seeds that are going to grow and come into fruition at the latter part of the year. So I want you to be able to put all of your time, all of your energy into what matters the most. The other thing that's going on, even as I'm talking right now, is I get this activation in my tear ducts. The way my intuition works is that a tear duct activation is typically signifying something big, a movement in your life, an opportunity, a relationship that's coming in that is going to somehow pull your soul, pull your heart, pull your entire energy into a different trajectory. It's like hitting an intuitive nerve, if you will, that is saying, hey, this is the path, pay attention. So as I shuffle the cards today and pull out the Celtic Cross, I really want to look for opportunities for movement and transformation. I think this is going to be important for you. All right, without any further delay, let me take a look at the cards. I'm going to remain quiet as I shuffle and lay out the cross, but after that, I will pull each card up one by one and talk about how it relates to you for this month. Your catalyst message this month is win or lose, and we see what looks like the Ace of Swords. So for me, this is about an argument, a dispute, a conversation, or some sort of document that is going to put you in this category of having to make a decision. And the challenge for many of you is going to be, how can I find the middle ground? Whenever you set something up in a very polarized position, like I'm right or you're wrong, or it's this way or nothing, it often causes conversations to just shut down, or it can bring them to a level where people are just sort of working from emotion only. And that's what we see here with the heart right in the center. I think the key to success this month is to stay grounded, to find common ground. And that's why I think in this particular illustration, this symbol for communication is literally in the ground. So let's work through the Celtic Cross and we'll see how that relates. And also we'll bring it back to the channeled message as appropriate as well. Now, when I was pulling cards, I also got that tear duct activation for the second card that I pulled. So the first one was the Ace of Cups, and then crossing this was the Empress. So the Empress is a card of control. Sometimes it can be someone who can block or champion what's going on. The interesting thing in this is that she was touching the Devil card. So I think there is definitely some challenges this month with respect to authority and decision-making and control. But let's go card by card. I just wanted to highlight that. With the Ace of Cups at the center, some of you may be either engaged in a project or an activity that just brings you a lot of joy and satisfaction, and that's a great central energy for this month. Stick with that. That's going to be really, really important. I was talking earlier about taking time right now to plant seeds that are going to make a difference at the end of the year. This is precisely the type of thing that you want to be focusing on. It can also indicate a strong new relationship or even a love interest that comes into your life. Ace of Cups is perfect for that. However, there is some sort of approval or controlling influence that seems to be coming in with the Empress card. Now, some of you could also be celebrating something like pregnancy or the birth of a child, because the Empress card can indicate all of those kind of maternal energies. So these two cards together could actually mean good news. They could also indicate that some of you are deciding to go out on your own, because you have three aces this month: the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. That can be like relationships, ideas, and business. So much going on that this is why I saw the infinity thing earlier. You're going to have to try to keep track of this and not limit yourself, because there really is a lot on your plate and a lot of potential. The challenge is, how can you try to make it all happen if possible? Let's look and see what you can focus on and what you can maybe pull away from. As I said earlier, I think that's going to be the key here. When I look in the deep past, the Page of Wands can have to do with both delivery, but also receipt or computation or understanding of a message. With the card in reverse, there could have been a potential misunderstanding on your part or another's of something that you wrote down, particularly since in the catalyst we had this symbol of the Ace of Swords, which we're seeing twice here. I see a potential, or I would actually even say a suggestion, for you to rewrite or revisit written documentation, or if you're doing something creative, this is about going back and rewriting. There's going to have to be some sort of revision that takes place this month. This is where it's not win versus lose. What it really is about is clarification, so that both sides understand one another. And before maybe you even go into the actual revision, you can go into a little bit of a workshop or a face-to-face or some sort of mediation where the two of you talk about what you thought was happening, what you need to happen, and try to figure it out. I think a third party is going to be necessary for this, so that they can kind of run the middle and help the two of you not get upset. Because once you both see that maybe there was just, that you both might agree on certain things, then it's going to be easier to come to the middle ground. The other thing that I see with this was, I feel like the person that's coming through here, I usually don't pay attention to this, but I'm really looking at her hands. So I think that this person isn't comfortable in letting go of approvals. And if they're in a management or some sort of supervisor role, they have to just, even if there's nothing wrong, they have to touch things one more time. And we've all had bosses like that, or we've all had someone in a sort of an approval chain. Even if they're not adding something, they feel like they need to just say it. So what will help you in this is to simply acknowledge the receipt of their feedback. You could say, thank you. I listened to what you said. I have an idea. What if we do this? That's not saying no. That's not saying they're right or you're wrong or vice versa. It's simply saying, okay, this is what you said. Here's some ways that we can begin to work this out. So try to use language to your advantage this month. And the main thing that you have to do is to, for some of these people, acknowledge that they play a role, like it or not, and work with or around them, but you can't kind of like steamroll over them. If you happen to be the Empress, the challenge this month would be to be as understanding as possible and realize that unless this is something that basically is going to put your reputation on the line or that you have a really sort of keen interest in, then it might be okay to let someone try something. The worst that could happen is it doesn't work and they have to admit later, you know what, your idea was solid. So whatever side of the fence you're on, take a deep breath, work with one another. It's going to be better if you do that. The other thing that I see with the deep past for you is to focus on thinking about the bigger audience for this and how you can start to work on pitching or sort of preparing it for a delivery. So this will also take you out of the anxiety or kind of frustration that might exist when something's kind of going through that approval chain. Okay? Now, if you're not working or you just feel like that was too focused on work, the other thing that I see here is when we're looking at interpersonal relationships. This could be between a mother and a child. It could be between siblings or friends. I see one person here who has a hard time not getting their way. And so I think this month, when it comes to any sort of interpersonal relationship or any sort of partnership that you have, that reciprocity has to be key to it. And if there's things that you really don't need to kind of fight over, pick and choose your battles. This is about what we were talking about earlier. Don't let others weigh you down and don't let them unnecessarily kind of pull you into things that don't matter. So if they want to do it, let them do it and then focus on something else, okay? Pick and choose battles. On the bright side, as we look at recent past, we have another ace. So we have the Ace of Cups in the middle. Now we have the Ace of Wands here in recent past. This is showing that many of you have this really great inspirational energy or idea, or your vitality is higher than it usually is. I want you to use that. And sort of what I see you doing is getting as crystal clear on your vision as possible. Some of you may choose to keep it to yourself until you completely understand how it's all going to fall into place. But at some point this month, communication is going to be really key. So for those of you in business, again, we have something you're passionate about, a great idea, and then eventually some sort of pitch or a chance to share it. And that's great, and that's exciting. There is a key component though, and you don't want to hop over this Empress person because that could cause a block. So you want to, at the very beginning, if you know you have a hurdle, if you know, even in your life, if it's not business, if you know there's someone that you have to mend bridges with, do it at the beginning of the month. I've learned in my own life experiences that if you run away from something or if you don't want it, because of the law of attraction, it just rushes right towards you because it's the universe saying, actually, you need to deal with this. You don't want it, but we think you need it. So when you realize that there's something that needs to be kind of clear it out so that you can enjoy all of these ace cards that are coming through. That block, it's really being set up because of fear, anxiety, or maybe the inability for some of you to simply kind of admit something. Whether it's that I need to get past this, or I could have done better, or I'm sorry, whatever. There's something that needs to be said and expressed because that's also what we see here. Cups, wands, and swords. How do you feel? What have you done? How do you say it? Something broke down in that process for some of you, and what you can do this month is simply acknowledge, yeah, it could have been better. It doesn't mean that I'm bad. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means that we learned from this. And that's the big sort of awesome lesson this month is this doesn't have to be the end of the world. That's only in your near future. So as we look at some of the other cards, they're much better. Let's take a look now at your ego this month. the most important thing is to just sort of stay on task. The Five of Wands is basically a keep busy card. And it also is saying that the key component to success this month is going to be teamwork. And, you're not going to always agree or understand or even support everything that everyone on the team needs or wants to do. But if you can work in concert for the same sort of end result, that's great. Again, if you're not in a business, this can just be sort of like a family that's trying to kind of come together and work through their issues. And what I see in the environment is a sign that it's really in everybody's interest to not give up. The Nine of Wands shows that most of you have worked really hard to get where you're at. If it's a relationship, you might have really gone through a lot of therapy or learned a lot about each other, and it doesn't feel like things are at that point where you're ready to just walk away quite yet anyway. So I would say stick it out until you get a clear indication, or like me, you felt something kind of empathically when I had that tear duct activation. If you can't get over that, or if somebody says something in a way that you just can't find a sort of common ground, that's when you might know that, okay, this is that low frequency person that I need to pull back from. Now, one thing with the Devil in reverse is it usually shows a revelation or something that's going to come to the light. The upright Devil means you need to deal with it. This means that one way or another it's coming out this month. Some examples of reversed Devil revelations can be things like you walk in the room and hear someone talking about you. There's no doubt that they were saying something negative because you heard it, you saw it, and other people were present. And so it's revealed. You see their true colors. You may get forwarded an email where someone says something negative, or you were copied on something and they didn't intend you to see that. There could also be something where you were dating or seeing someone, and while you're out shopping, you meet them and you see that they're still kind of connected with a partner or an ex. There's some sort of incontrovertible evidence, or something's brought to the light in a way that there's no doubt. And that's the healing energy of the Devil. It's not fun, and it can often be difficult. It's something where your heart skips a beat, or you feel like your stomach is sinking, because in that moment, it's like, did I really just hear, see, or feel what I thought I did? Or for some of you, you might feel like you want to cry, because that's what I picked up on when I was pulling all of the cards earlier a couple times. So I know that this can be a triggering event for you, but there is something cleansing about this reverse Devil that is going to help you clearly see who's on your side and who you need to separate from. Or in this particular case, you might just have to have a heart-to-heart with and say, I thought I understood you, and I thought we understood each other, but clearly there are some things we need to work out. So this is going to be challenging for some of you, but I think that once you get past this, then you can focus on the important thing, which this month is simply getting back to work. That's what the Five of Wands is all about. This, by the way, is in your ego position, which means that I feel like you also want to just focus on work this month. So once you get a chance to alleviate this pressure or this stressful situation, then you can get back to this. And as we look at the environment, you'll actually be very productive. I love Nine of Wands because this shows me great progress, near completion, and a feeling that, you know what, I can get this finished. I really want you to kind of exist within that space. See that it's possible, feel that you've resolved what needed to be resolved, and move forward. When I look at hopes and fears, and this one is definitely more in the fear area this month, it's the Knight of Swords in reverse. The fear portion of this is confrontation. And when you have something like the Devil, it's understandable why you could be afraid of that sort of confrontation. In my experience, the more you try to avoid something, the more it comes rushing towards you. And what you want to really do is take the reins here and approach it in a way that's unexpected. Be kind, be loving, be direct. Try to also pull the conversation out of an expected environment. Bring it into a neutral ground or into something that is friendly to you where you feel comfortable. And then again, start it off with kindness. Don't immediately put someone in the hot seat. Let them know that they're safe, let them know that you care about them, and then let them know that this has to be resolved, whatever happened. And this could be someone who might be saying things online, they could be saying it to friends, there could be gossip, there could be rumors. Again, you might have walked in and seen it. What you want to do now is just have a heart-to-heart with them. Let them know that you care, and then the both of you can move forward and move on. Because honestly, most people just need acknowledgement, and they need to know that you care about them. So for you, I think this will be the key thing here. And then the next component of this is, for some of you, the Devil card can indicate that you need to let go of something in your life. So if you're the one that was called out, or if you feel like there's an addiction, a temptation, a frustration that's somehow pulling you off your track, then you need to have that same sort of critical, but constructively critical conversation with yourself. And that's what the Knight of Swords is about. Don't let it, though, go so critical that you're self-defeatist, thinking, I can't do this, it won't work, it's not going to happen. Approach yourself with the same kindness that you would approach others. You could think to yourself something like this: well, clearly this isn't working. I'm not getting where I need to be, or this is causing me unnecessary pain, or it's pulling me off the path of productivity. So I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to talk to someone, because that's also what the Knight of Swords can be about. Then you're going to notice that it will go upright, and you're going to start to pick up speed, pick up momentum, feel better about yourself. So whatever the confrontation is, whether it's some sort of a shadow that you need to deal with, a shadow side of yourself, or it's something in your life where it's a tangible person that you need to talk to, this is your time to send light into that darker area and begin to heal. And as a result, then you're going to trust yourself, you're going to trust others, you're not going to second guess things, you're going to be able to move forward. And then you can also just let go of this stuff. And so the Five of Swords in reverse in the outcome is taking exactly what you need from this situation, and then no longer feeling like it's win or lose, because this is usually something you can't win, the Five of Swords. So with this, you're going to think, all right, I got exactly what I needed. And if it's yourself, you just think, I learned a lot. If it's someone else, you can think, well, we won't repeat what we did before. And you don't want to get into the category of making someone the bad person. They're human. I'm human. We both had areas where there was a little room that we could do better. Move forward. Because at the end of the day, that's the truth. We call one another into our lives for lessons. So if there was something going on, whether it is kind of like an intangible, like an addiction or a habit that you need to release, or something more corporeal, like a person, that lesson came in so that you could learn something. And oftentimes when it's really difficult, we should be grateful and think, okay, it's not going to happen again. Now this is the universe saying, you can get past this, deal with it, move on. And then when you do, you think, all right, I'm ready. I want to say, ultimately though, most of the energy is good this month. There's so much with the aces, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords. You can really go far this month. Don't let one thing get in the way of that progress. All right, let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the health card. So I'm going to give it a shuffle and we'll see what's in store for you. As we look at the health card this month, we have a card here that's really saying it's time to clear up confusion. And this has to do with not only sort of the mental clouds, but also any of the energy that might be around you. And when you're empathic, when you're highly sensitive, something that you can sort of subconsciously do is begin to pick up other people's thoughts, their fears, their doubts, their worries. And if you don't practice regular meditation, grounding, also clearing, using smudging techniques, taking a salt bath, all those sorts of things, what can happen is this can start to cloud up your ability to hear, see, and feel things in a very clear way. So what I'd like you to do this month is try to get better with meditation. Even if you do it, maybe do it a little longer or a little more frequently. I'd like you to, as I said earlier, try some sort of grounding techniques. This can honestly be as simple as walking outside and taking your shoes off, just making sure your feet are on the ground and you feel a connection. You could go to a tree and just kind of lean against it, meditate for a few minutes, and really feel that connection to the earth element. I was talking in another sign about part of the reason that I have so many flowers around is I like to work with the soil, with the plants, with that energy. It helps pull me into a place where I am clear. And also when you're working with trees, flowers, and earth, it takes all this sort of smoke and dust and etheric garbage that's in there, and it pulls it into the planet and it can kind of recycle it. So you need to do some of that. And I mentioned an Epsom salt bath. You can go to your local drugstore usually and find something for $3, $5 sometimes it's in the bath and body area, and you can definitely find some of this stuff online. You don't need to get any of the fragrances or anything. You can always use your own essential oils. If you just go with the plain stuff, it usually is $3 to $5. You can just put a cup of that in a nice warm bath and soak in it for maybe 10 minutes and just allow for the energy to neutralize your auric field. And what that'll do is pull all of that garbage out that we can hold on to. So whether you're just doing your daily sort of routine, going to work, going to school, being with your family, listening to people, you can pick that stuff up. And what I see for many of you is that's clouding your intuition, your judgment. And when it comes to being strong and being able to let go of things, it could be making it harder to see where your accountability is, where others is, and what you need to sort of do to mend bridges or let go of things. So take some time, clear your mind, meditate, clear your body, clear your energy. It's going to be really, really important. I mentioned also in your deep past, I think some of you have already resolved this, but there could be some things that pop up again this month where there was a misunderstanding. The other person maybe didn't hear you, or you didn't hear them. So you actually don't hate one another or have this feeling of anger. It's the misunderstanding. That's actually the devil. It's this energy between you that is taking power and taking shape and form. And if you can go in there and diffuse it, it's kind of like a balloon, and you just go in and pop it. All of a sudden that goes away, and then you see each other again and you think, oh, we were just angry at something that didn't even exist. So this month you have to diffuse the illusion, diffuse that reverse devil card, and then everything clears up, okay? The other thing is, if you are highly sensitive and someone is sort of constantly sending you negative energy, this is what I was saying before. Remember, you are strong, you are powerful, you are infinite. You're not going to allow someone in a low frequency to get into your energy. And that can exist simply with the profound and simple thought that I am safe, I am protected, I am grounded. You're not worrying about that person. When you worry, you're giving them power. So if I have a reading with someone and they're like, but why does this person get in? The fact that they're asking that question shows that they haven't kind of learned the simple thing, which is they don't have my power, they don't have my energy. I'm not going to connect with them anymore. When you get to that level, you're shining brightly and it's like a 1,000-watt bulb. You can't even see them. Your light is so bright. So that's what I want you to focus on this month. We just looked at health. It had a lot to do with sort of energy and esoteric information. Let's see what wealth has to offer this month. Much like this, it could be something energetic, a thought pattern. It could also be something with tangible experiences or opportunities coming in. It could be self-worth too. So let's see what the message is for wealth, and we'll talk after I shuffle the cards. So in wealth, we have a card that is really about clairvoyance and connecting to source, but it also is about going through what we saw here. And some of you may need to seek out sort of a mediator, which I talked about earlier. This could be a third party that's going to come in with an objective sort of viewpoint, and their sole purpose is to simply help the two of you see things eye to eye. I think this would be a great month for you to talk to a friend, a mentor, or a loved one and say, am I seeing this correctly? The other thing with mediumship is it's encouraging you, if not in fact pushing you, to look at other ways to do things, other angles that things could be perceived. And this is important for you overall. I would say for those of you that are expanding your own mediumship skills, perhaps you're getting a little bit more involved in your spiritual side. This is showing me that there could be something that you could do in this area where it could involve wealth, it can show development, and you may be deciding to take this perhaps in some level of business, which is great. Whatever is going on, energy needs to go into seeing things more clearly. It will help you both in existing relationships and business endeavors, and it's for some of you it might actually end up being a tangible business endeavor as well. But take time, meditate, ask for help, get different points of view, see things from all angles. This is what's going to help you resolve issues this month. And knowing that there's more than one way to get something done or more than one point of view can be a freeing thing for you. That limiting idea that it's either, as I said earlier, right or wrong, win or lose, that's what's causing some of the friction. That's what's causing things to break down. So we see a continual message of staying open, exploring opportunities this month, and I think that's going to be key to success. We just looked at health and wealth. Let's take a look now at love and relationships and see what's coming through there. Just a reminder that this is not exclusive to a romantic relationship. Love is the currency of the universe. This particular message is going to be about how to spend that in the best way. As we look at your love message, it says Wizard of Awareness. This is showing that you have the power to awaken both your own awareness and also others in your life. Own that power, and instead of kind of going down the path of being afraid or being overly argumentative or overly critical, what you want to do is come through as someone who's going to reveal, to heal, and to help move forward. This is also basically like the magician. You can basically channel positive healing energy and move forward and transform. You are an alchemist this month when it comes to relationships. Own that power. Don't feel beholden to others. Chart your own path and move forward. Let's go ahead now and take a look at destiny. Destiny is really showing you a message of either confirmation that you're on the right path, or it's going to be a wayfinding message like a GPS to help you get back on track if that's what's necessary. Your destiny message is all about that grounding that we were actually seeing back in the catalyst when I was mentioning that you might have to find a neutral ground or kind of take some of the difficult conversations, ground them, and have someone help you. Let's go ahead and read the card. It says Gaia, Earth Connection. Be mindful of the planet, come back to Earth, stay grounded. And I think this is just keeping you central to your common goal, which is always the big purpose, the big picture, and the greater good. And sometimes when we can get out of our ego, our pride, and even out of our own way, sometimes we can't see through our own filters, our own sort of confusion. Then all of a sudden we can see ways that things can get done. We can understand things from other perspectives, and we feel better. This is also about taking a break. I see a lot of work going on this month, a lot of energy being expended. So it would be good for you to take a break, take a holiday, take a vacation, and get out of your sort of your routine. Breaking that up will help break up the energy a little bit, especially if you can do something in nature, getting out in the element of earth or water and somehow allowing for things to kind of clear up and to cleanse, as we said earlier. All right, let's go ahead now and review everything we talked about, and then I'll leave you with a closing message at the end. As we talked about the channeled information this month, there was a reminder that you are infinite, that your power is something that you can use to heal, that you can use to transform, and that's something that I wanted to remind you. Don't let other people weigh you down, and likewise, I would even say don't let your own fears or your own confusion get in the way of that light and that energy. Your catalyst was all about the ability to move past these polarized or binary right versus wrong, win versus lose situations. Your conversations have to be in an elevated place and also something where you're trying to find common ground. As we looked at the central card, it was a great one. We have the Ace of Cups. There's a lot of passion, a lot of positive energy this month. You want to stick with that because when we look at the other aces, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Swords, this passion, this enthusiasm is what's going to fuel them. Try to work with people that might somehow be feeling like they're a block, realizing that they may just be doing their job. Some of you may be celebrating new love, new relationships, or a new partnership because all of these can show that as well. Keep an open mind and focus on communication, clear communication. That's going to be key. It's no accident that your crowning card is the Ace of Swords, and we also saw a kind of modified version of that in the Catalyst. When we look at what your key thing that you can overcome this month is, it's some sort of a confrontation. This could be something you have to confront about yourself or something that you have to confront in another person. Remember that the way in which you communicate is really key. Kindness, directness, and again, common ground. That's going to be what will alleviate and remove this block or perceived block from your life. In the ego, the Five of Wands is reminding you that it's important for you to continue to be diligent about your work and hopefully to take that passion that we saw at the center and combine it with this work ethic, and also kind of motivating people around you, because everybody needs to feel wanted, desired, and a part of this team. And when you can kind of create that kind of leadership, that's going to be really important. I feel that once you do that, you're going to make headway, and that the important thing is positive and constructive communication, not just towards yourself, but also towards others. Remember that this isn't about winning and losing, and that's what the Five of Swords is reminding you. Again, there's a lot of confirmation to that this month, that you have to find common ground and you have to let go of this polarized right versus wrong, good versus bad. It's not really like that. We have one common thread throughout health, wealth, love, and destiny. At least 3 of the cards here are about clarity. We have confusion reverse, which is actually about clearing things up. We have mediumship upright, which is about seeing things from another point of view, and awareness here, wizard of awareness or alchemy, which is also about being able to take something that was in one state and bring it in another. So with health, focus on self-care, meditation, and kind of letting go of that metaphysical junk like we talked about by doing salt baths. You can also smudge yourself, and again, a constant and I would say lengthened meditation practice, a consistent practice, is really key. For mediumship, once you do this, you'll start to see things from a different point of view when it comes to work. Don't be afraid to ask others to kind of check your own filters to make sure that you're not in this state. And then once you're in a place where you know that things are shifting, that possibilities can happen, you'll start to manifest once more. You can become the magician and you can change things. Finally, take some time to yourself. Get grounded. Make room for a vacation or for a retreat. And in doing this, you're going to have that sense of distance that you need from things to see the bigger picture. And I think that's going to be the best thing that you could possibly do to get back to a sense of being grounded and finding, again, that common ground. So this brings your monthly reading to a close, but I hope you got exactly what you needed in order to move through the month with a feeling of confidence and being prepared for all of the twists and turns that come your way. If you ever feel like you want to talk a little bit more about something that we covered here in the general forecast, or if there's something going on in your life and you want a little bit more insight, there is a way that you can reach out and book a session. Click on the first card in the video and also the first link below the video, and this will take you to my booking site. From there, you can take a look at rates and availability, and if it's something that works out for you, then I look forward to chatting with you. If you instead want to just say thank you because you enjoyed the quality of what was being presented today. I mentioned earlier that everything you see here is viewer and fan supported. And the way that you can become a patron is by clicking on the second card or the second link below the video. On my website, you'll notice there are several ways that you can do either a one-time contribution or a continuing contribution. And this can be as little as $1. And this goes directly into helping me buy supplies. And more importantly, it allows me to set up the time just to do these readings. Each one takes 1 day, and so that's about half the month that I spend on video production. And the sooner and more that I kind of get support from you, the sooner I can release these each month. So if you liked what you saw, feel free to contribute and make the next round possible. And for everyone who has already done that in the past, thank you for making it a reality this month. The third and final way that you can help, if you'd like to, is simply by clicking on like and subscribe, and then the third card and the third link. This will take you to my website where you can join me on social media networks like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or you can sign up for my newsletter. And if you'd like to become what I kind of consider an ambassador, you can then share this on your social media feeds and let others find out about this. It's a great free resource. My whole purpose here from month to month is to try to connect with other people and help them see that there is a lighter and brighter way to get stuff done. So when you do that, it helps me reach other people and it helps kind of brighten up this planet. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to create teachers, light workers, and people that are aware. So thank you. I'd like to end with your closing message this month, which is really about compassion and clarity, if I had to kind of pull a couple of words that I see here. You know, a lot of what was coming through this month was overcoming this feeling of confusion. The card was initially reversed, but when we look at that, it's really about seeing past illusions or seeing past things that are somehow bringing us into a place where we've lost our way or lost our power. And the other thing is understanding that there really is no right versus wrong or good versus bad. It's a point of view, and what you're going to try to do is see it from both angles and heal and forgive and hopefully show that person, or if it is something in your own life, show yourself a way to a higher frequency, to a higher ground. You can do that this month, and I think that's your great gift and your great opportunity. At the end here, I also want to remind you that you are infinite, and there are so many great things this month. I think possibly taking relationships onto a new level or to new ground, some sort of idea or brainstorming, and then maybe some of you might be signing a contract or creating something that you want to share with the world. Focus your energy there. That's where it matters, and that's a much better use of that than arguments or disputes or feeling bad or being negative about yourself or others. You're powerful, you can change things, and I really want you to put your energy into those efforts instead. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here for the last 40 minutes or so. You have a lot of choices here on YouTube and also in life, so thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. Wishing you love, light, and abundance now and always. I'll see you again in 1 month's time. Until then, be well and be kind.